A questionnaire is a way of getting information from a population of people. A good questionnaire should not have questions which are too personal. Now, there are exceptions to that. For example, if it's a medical questionnaire, we should not have overlapping response boxes. So you couldn't say 2 to 5, 5 to 6, and so on, and so on. We'll go over that in a little bit. There shouldn't be gaps in the boxes, so if we have 2 to 3 and then 5 to 8 as options, there's no option for people that want to tick 4. We should always have at least 3 response groups for our answers, have appropriate titles, and aim not to be biased. We don't want any leading questions such as do you agree or don't you agree. Here's an example of a questionnaire question. So you'd be asked this question here and be expected to produce a questionnaire. So the pizza factory is investigating their customer base. 200 customers are completing a short questionnaire about their pizza eating habits as shown below. What is your age? How many times have you eaten pizza this month? And what type of topping do you prefer? And we're asked to design a data collection sheet that could be used to summarize the customer's responses and planning to group the data when appropriate. So the questionnaire that I've got is this one here. This is what I've come up with. So the first question, what is your age? 2, how many times have you eaten pizza this month? 3, what is your favourite type of pizza topping? Essentially coming straight from the question. And if we look at the first question, we have more than 3 response groups, and none of them overlap. Okay, so people younger than 15 have got a box, 15 to 25, 26 to 36, 37 to 47, older than 48. So everyone has exactly one box to tick. There's never going to be a situation where someone could tick 2 boxes. And then for how many times have you eaten pizza this month? Again, more than 3 response boxes, so we can have a nice range of answers there. And again, none of the boxes overlap, and there are no gaps. So there's always a box where someone can tick, conceivably, even in exceptional cases. More than 7 times is unlikely, but again, it's there, so there's an option for everyone. And for what is your favourite type of pizza topping, again, there's a range of possible responses there, because the ideal is that people can just tick the box. But I've also got other with a space where you can specify, just in case there's an exceptional topping that isn't usually considered. Here's a question for you to try. Please pause the video now and have a go, and when you're ready for the answer, press play. Here is the answer. So this is the data collection sheet that I came up with. So for what is your age, again, I've got more than 3 response groups, no gaps, no overlaps. Again, for the second question, again, there's enough response groups to get a range of answers. But this time, it's unlikely that anyone's going to go more than 18 times. But it is there just in case. How much time do you spend in the gym doing a typical session? Again, there's a range of responses there that should cover everyone, and there's no gaps or overlaps. For what type of fitness do you prefer? Again, I've given a range of possible answers, but I've also put other in case there's some fitness that I forgot. Here are some further questions from GCSE papers. So in the first question, Denise wants to test the following hypothesis: new cars use less fuel than old cars. Her plan is to send a short questionnaire to every house in her street and ask the following 2 questions. And we're told to write down 3 unfavourable comments about her plan. Well, the first problem is that it's not representative. She's only asking every house in her street. And, depending on the area you live in, there might be fewer cars or more cars there. So 1, it's not representative. So we'd say the sample is not representative. Really, she should only be asking people that definitely have cars. So it's a little bit redundant to ask, do you have a car? Secondly, I would also say that it doesn't specify the type of fuel, so it doesn't specify if it's diesel or petrol. And finally, I would say there's no timescale. It's not asking how much fuel do you use over a typical week, or how many miles per gallon does the car do, which is the standard unit for this. Here's another question. A survey is to be carried out to find the popularity of buying books with various age groups of the population. So look at the plan here. The survey is carried out by asking people questions as they come out of a bookshop, and two questions from the survey are shown. And we're asked to explain why this may be a biased survey. And it's simply to do with, and this is quite frequent in GCSE questions, it's to do with where the survey is being carried out. If people are leaving a bookshop, it's quite likely that they do buy books. So it's probable that only people who buy books are being asked, which is quite unfair. And B, stated criticism about the design of question 1, well, what jumps out at me straight away is that we have overlapping boxes. You've got 20 to 30, 30 to 40. It's unclear which box I would tick if I were 30 years old. So for the first question, the criticism would be overlapping response boxes. For C, write a question with a selection of answer boxes to find out how much people are prepared to pay for a paperback book. The GCSE mark scheme specifies a suitable question with at least 3 boxes, no overlaps or gaps, and prices from a low value upwards. So essentially what we did before, where you give a range of possible responses to cover most conceivable options.